1,000 years ago, a storyteller wanted us, today, in this room, to hear this story, a story about bison, rhinos, and horses. Storytelling is how we communicate who we are and what is important to us. Some stories are so compelling that they're retold generation by generation on new walls. Sometimes they're told on our skin. Storytelling is how we teach our children right from wrong, how we teach them to live in our society and in our communities. It's how we give them guardrails for decision making. Be nice, don't be mean. Think before you act, don't play with fire. Sometimes storytelling is life and death. In World War II, Prime Minister Winston Churchill wanted the United Kingdom to know it would never surrender.
We shall fight on the beaches, we shall fight on the landing grounds, we shall fight in the fields and in the streets, we shall fight in the hills, we shall never surrender.
Sometimes storytellers need to motivate a skeptical audience to do the unimaginable. Here, President Kennedy is asking his country to go to the moon.
We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills. Because that challenge is one that we're willing to accept, one we are unwilling to postpone, and one we intend to win.
A storyteller just needs you to understand what is happening. Steve Jobs did his announcement of the iPhone in 2007. In that speech, the loudest gasp is not when he introduced the iPhone. It's when he introduced one software feature. The entire audience gasped. How do storytellers get those gasps? Storytellers know their why. They know their personal why, and they know their professional why. Their personal why is that unique why that is inside of every single one of us. It's that energy that gets us out of bed, makes us go towards our goals, and gets through all obstacles and roadblocks. It is singular and unique inside of every single one of us. Storytellers also know their company why, the why that drives their company, or what you could call your professional purpose, or even your department's purpose. Churchill knew that the coming deaths in the UK needed to be forewarned. Kennedy knew there was no way politicians were going to approve those STEM budgets. He needed to make sure politicians knew that there was going to be no failure, no delay. And Steve Jobs knew he had an amazing product, but he also knew the best product doesn't always win. He had to actually storytell to all of us what an iPhone was and what an iPhone did. When you're a great storyteller that knows your personal why and your professional why, you get reactions like this. She's leaning to see the storyteller. This one stopped drinking her cocoa. She is mesmerized by what is happening. And this is what we're going for, the audible gasp. I want to tell you a tale of two whys, two very different whys, both equally successful. This is Dr. Bose, an incredible inventor, a PhD from MIT in electrical engineering, and the founder of his namesake company, the Bose Corporation. Headphones and speakers, most of us know as consumers. But in the industrial world, he has made huge changes in the way that the audio works within rockets, within cars. For the MIT 150th anniversary, the local newspaper, the Boston Globe, ran a list of the top 150 inventors coming out of MIT, including students, faculty, and then people just associated with MIT. Dr. Bose was number 9 on that list. He's ahead of the founders of Hewlett-Packard. He's ahead of the founders of Genentech. He's ahead of a co-inventor of GPS. I did not work with Dr. Bose, so I don't know his personal why, but I do know his company why. We apply the highest level of scientific inquiry and invention. You know for a fact that these earphones have the best scientific inventions available for audio. You know for a fact that this is a very serious company and that they are bringing you the best of scientific inquiry and invention. Now I want to tell you a different why. This is Dr. Dre and Jimmy Iovine, the founders of Beats by Dr. Dre, where I worked. Jimmy and Dre did not go to college. And yes, Dre's a doctor, just not of electrical engineering from MIT. They are living legends. They are prolific music producers that have changed the world with the music that they have created. This is just a handful of the artists that they've worked with, either signing to a label or producing. Missing from these slides? Oh, you know, Bruce Springsteen, Lady Gaga, Gwen Stefani. Only a music producer knows what the final version of a song sounds like. In their headphones, at a mixing board, when they're moving knobs and sliding it up and down, they're taking out a snare drum and they're adding a cymbal, they know exactly what that final version of that song sounds like. With the revolution of digital playback devices like the iPod and then the iPhone, phones, Zunes, MP3 players, came a plague upon the music industry. And that plague was those crummy, awful 25-cent headphones that came in your box. So the song was great on the digital playback device, but it was horrific when it went through that awful, awful headphone, the little earphone. So Jimmy and Dre founded Beats by Dr. Dre to cure us from that plague, to teach us to throw away those crummy earphones and to put on headphones so we could hear the music as the artist intended. Headphones similar to the ones that they wore in the music studio. Our company why reflected our founders' why. Their passion when they made music. And then our passion as employees being part of Beats. And then our consumers' passion and emotion when they were connected to the music the way they were supposed to hear it, and our commercials showed it. 2 similar products, 2 totally different whys, 2 completely different companies, both equally successful. It is not surprising that Dr. Bose gifted most of his stock to MIT so it could continue its mission of research. It's also not surprising that consumers connected to our emotional story, and Apple did too. Beats was sold for $3 billion 6 years after launching. Why matters, even if you're not a CEO, even if you're not a president, even if you're not a founder. Every single day, every single one of us is making decisions that are grounded in our personal why and our company why. If you've ever taken a job that was a disaster, you let somebody else's why hijack your why. If you have ever compromised yourself and done something that was not aligned with your morals, you have lost your personal why. And if you have ever pitched your idea, a presentation at work, or you're pitching to investors and crazy stuff comes out of your mouth, you don't know your company why. When you don't know your personal and your company why, it can be a dumpster fire. What does a dumpster fire look like for a founder? It looks like the founder of a rideshare company cursing at a driver for that rideshare company. It looks like the founder of a yoga pant company calling his customers fat instead of admitting his pants were defective. And it looks like the founder of a blood testing company leaving court with her lawyer because she made the whole thing up. Investors lost their money, employees lost their jobs, and fake blood test results were given to consumers. What does it look like when a company's lost its why? Looks like a luxury iconic brand putting a monument in Red Square next to Lenin's tomb. It looks like a betting company making fun of refugees who are trying to cross a border and often dying by jumping on these transport trucks. Storytelling matters all the time. We are all storytelling every single day. When you ask for new responsibilities at work, you are storytelling. When you are asking a banker or an investor or a VC to invest in you, you are storytelling. You are storytelling to your family, you're storytelling to your customers. You are storytelling to new employees, to a future employer. We are all storytelling to ourselves. And we all want these gasps. Jimmy and Dre knew their personal why. They are some of the greatest storytellers of our generation in song. Figuring out how to translate that why into an operational company why for the employees at Beats, that's a whole nother story. We had to take what Jimmy, Dre, and Beats, all magic, were doing, because Beats was already taking off, and translate that into sentences that employees in countries throughout the world and in roles as diverse as facilities all the way up to the executive team, we had to explain to them, as we got bigger and bigger and bigger, what makes Beats Beats. We had to storytell the Beats right from wrong. We had to storytell our Beats rules of engagement. We started with our company why, our founder why, then our company why. And we worked on everything from the look and feel of an office, to interview questions, to product packaging. That is the look of terror. This is also me storytelling to myself. Dear God, do not let me mess this up. We were able to get fuel into that rocket, and we were able to get Beats to go even further and faster than we knew it could go. We had legends like Eminem ask us to break his new song in our commercials. Think about that. Not on a TV show, not on a radio show, but in our commercial. Then we had these athletic legends that wanted to be part of Beats, because it turned out when they put on their headphones and connected to the emotion of their music, they also connected to focus to help them compete. They blocked out distractions. They connected themselves to their greatness. And perhaps even more important than these legends were all the people we never met, the people who connected so deeply to our story that they retold it as their own story on their skin. Now, I couldn't find any Bose tattoos, but I know they're out there, because STEM fans are just as passionate as Beats fans. Storytelling is not reserved for the famous. All of us are storytellers. For the last 2 days, thought leaders from all over the globe have stood here and said to you what their hard problems are. And they are asking you to help them solve it. They need to hear your story, and they want to gasp. In the words of Simon Sinek, you always start with why. Start with your personal why. Why do you get out of bed every day to go after your goals, getting through all of those roadblocks? Then, your company why. If you don't have these two foundations, you are vulnerable to doubt, bad decisions, and unhappiness. Lay your foundation in your personal and your professional why, then go tell your story.